You can always talk to me.
Yeah, thank you. And you were right, I still have a lot to learn.
There's one more thing.
Hi, Nick. Congratulations on winning the 11-second club. You did great work. I really liked your shot. My name is Jay Jackson. I've been an animator for about 35 years. I started at Disney doing traditional animation back on the Fox and the Hound. And I went on to work on many films there, including The Little Mermaid, Tarzan, Hercules, and others. I also worked a little bit at DreamWorks, and at a certain point I learned computer animation and did some work at Rhythm and Hughes and then Sony. And I've been I've been a mentor at Animation Mentor for about 10 years. You can see some of my work at jaymation.com, JAYMATION.com. And you can see my list of credits on the IMDb page under my name. So let's talk about your shot. One of the things I really like about it is your story idea. I think that really separates yours from a lot of the other entries that month. The dialogue is kind of open-ended. It's almost like a joke without a punchline. And I love the fact that you came up with a punchline in the final shot, introducing the girl at the door. I think that was really clever. I love that it's nonverbal. It gives us the feeling that there's a relationship of some depth there. So just these few scenes make us feel like it's part of a much bigger story, which I think is really great. I should play it here for people who aren't that familiar with it. So let's just run through it once.
You can always talk to me.
Yeah, thank you. And you were right, I still have a lot to learn.
There's one more thing.
Okay, great. So I think I wanted to just say a few words about staging that I think could make this a little bit stronger. In shot one, the character in the foreground who's walking up, he seems to walk really close to the seated character. And then when we cut to shot two, I feel like he's not as close as I thought he was. But I think shot two works really well, the beginning of that. So I wouldn't change that, but I would consider just changing shot one, and instead of I just wouldn't have him come quite so close. So maybe if he enters the scene and goes only as far as maybe frame 38 or 39, around there. I don't know. He's still pretty close, but I just feel like it'd be better. And I also just don't think he needs to cover up so much of the seated guy there. That's, at least that's my opinion. Also, the colors of the shirts threw me off a little. It looks like in shot one that they both have a black shirt. And then when we cut to the second shot, we see that they're gray. And the standing guy's shirt is lighter. So I would probably have just tweaked the lighting a little bit in shot one to lighten up their shirts. Then I have another suggestion right here. I think, let's see, what is this? Scene 4, I believe, where the standing guy is opening the door, and he opens it so far, and he disappears behind the door for about 16 frames or so. And then we cut to the next shot, and now he's back in the picture over here. So to me, it feels a little jarring to see a character, then have him disappear, and then kind of pop back on. Even though physically it kind of makes sense, just in terms of kind of the 2D aspect of filmmaking, I think it might have been better if here, as he's moving away from camera, I'm going to move everything over to my other screen so I can draw better on my Cintiq. Here, I think if the character were moving forward as he's opening the door so that we still see part of him here, then I think when you cut and he's still there, I just think it might have been a little bit less jarring. That's an easy fix. Okay, so now I'll just give a few animation tips or things that kind of bothered me. One is this thumb in the beginning. I like the way his thumb is touching the picture in frame one, and then as he moves it, I feel like it's getting a bit distorted in a way. It's almost like it's hyperextending and lifting the tip of the thumb away from the picture, which seems a little odd to me since he seems like he's kind of expressing that he likes touching her face. So I would think it would be a little better to bend that joint of the thumb down a little bit so that we get the feeling more that the tip is touching the picture. And by the way, in the picture, it seems, I was going to say, it looked to me like her eyes are closed. Maybe she's looking to the side. I don't know, but that seems a little odd either way. I think I would have just had her eyes open, just kind of looking at the camera. And I think it would sort of be more appealing, but it's a very minor thing. Okay. Then the next thing I wanted to mention is in shot 2. And as I already said, I love the padding and the reaction that the seated character has. The guy who's walking away puts his hands on his hips, and it feels a little awkward to me. And part of it is that both hands seem to be reaching the hips at the exact same time. Even though we don't see the left hand make contact, it feels like they're both hitting at exactly the same time. And when you have that happen with both hands, it often feels mechanical. So I would recommend offsetting one hand from the other. And in this case, I think it would have been better to just maybe let the left hand go up to the hip and just delay the right hand a little bit. Because it also feels a little like it's hurrying to get there to me. So I would maybe delay that by 10 frames or something. And I think that would help make it feel a little more natural. A bigger issue that I think is pretty important is that we always look at the eyes when we're looking at a character, and you want to make sure that your character doesn't look cross-eyed. And I feel like he looks a little cross-eyed here as he's looking at the picture. So it goes from frame 52 to, I don't know, almost 90 or so. Although, well, certain frames feel better than others. But anyway, in general, I think I would have it. I'd change his right eye a little bit and move it. I don't like that. Slightly to the left. Yeah, I think something a little more like that. It happens again later. He looks back, and then right there. Again, I'm feeling like he's a little cross-eyed there. So I would adjust that a bit. Okay. Maybe even here just a little. It's pretty close here. I mean, it's not too bad, but anyway, let's keep moving here. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is the lip sync on the dialogue. It's generally pretty good, and you got the important thing, which is the open and closing of the jaw. I feel like you've done a good job with that. It's more subtleties in the actual shape of the lips that I noticed some things that kind of didn't feel totally natural to me. So let's see. First thing I noticed was on thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So when I look at myself saying that, thank you, it feels like thank. It's mostly the jaw and the lower lips moving, and the upper lip doesn't move much. And what I'm seeing in yours, I'm really aware of the upper right lip coming down and kind of creating this triangle shape right there. But I think it'd be better if the corner of the mouth stayed up there. It could come down just a little because we don't want to make him look like he's smiling. But hopefully you get what I'm saying there. Just less movement on the corner and keeping the upper lip more in place and just letting the jaw pull the lower lip down. Thank you. It feels like you moved it over to the side a little bit, which isn't bad, but maybe it's a little too much. And then this, again, you're getting into asymmetry on the mouth, which is cool when you can do it and have it feel natural. But I feel like this feels a little funny when, what's he saying right there? Well, he's saying you, but let's see.
And you were right.
And you were right. He moves through that pretty quickly, so it's not terrible or anything, but it did feel a little, just something didn't quite feel right to me there. And I think you're pushing the ooh mouth, too much towards camera. I would just move it, kind of keep it more centered on his face. And I think it'd feel more natural.
And you were right. I still have a lot to learn.
There's one more.
I think you got basically the right idea on a lot to learn. I like the fact that you use that breath in his voice too, the exhale.
And you were right. I still have a lot to learn.
I feel like a lot. It feels a little soft on a lot. So it could be it's a combination of things there, but I think wherever the extreme is, I think you could have gone just a little bit wider on the mouth. In other words, to lower the jaw just a little bit more. And I don't know if you know this trick, but if you hold your hand under your chin like this and say the dialogue, you can really feel where the big accents are. If you say a lot to learn, you'll notice that on a lot, you can feel a lot more pressure on your fingers than when he says learn. So, so I would exaggerate that difference a little bit more. A little bit bigger opening on lot, and then I think you can leave learn just the way it is. And you do have a difference there, so I'm just saying maybe exaggerate lot a little bit more.
A lot to learn.
There's one more thing.
Also, the timing on lot could be a little bit sharper. And then this is a minor thing. I feel like the shot it accomplishes what it's supposed to, and it's appealing. But I feel like the guy turning his head, it feels a little slower than it needs to be, and it's nice animation, but it sort of feels like animation instead of like what a real character would do. Like I would think he would just be more direct there, like just turn his head a little more quickly, like because he's curious to see what his friend is talking about. And you go down and then rotate. Again, it's there's nothing wrong with it, but I would just speed it up a little bit. But then I like the sort of take he does. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so those are just some ideas that I think might have made it a little bit stronger, but I think overall you did a great job. So again, congratulations and good luck. Okay, we'll see you later.